In the shadowy world of feudal Japan, a group of ninjas lost their way. They were once proud warriors, defenders of honor and justice. But greed corrupted their hearts. The lure of gold blinded them to their sacred duty. They abandoned the Bushido code, their moral compass. Their leader, Cage, was the first to fall. He tasted power and wanted more. His whispers poisoned the minds of his followers. They began to take lives for profit, not protection. Honor became a distant memory. Their blades dripped with the blood of innocence. The rogue ninjas spread terror across the land. Villages burned in their wake. No one was safe from their deadly skills. They moved like shadows in the night, striking without warning, without mercy. The people cried out for a hero to save them. But who could stand against such skilled killers? The samurai were bound by rules of engagement. The ninjas knew no such restrictions. They used every dirty trick, every underhanded tactic. Their reputation grew with each successful mission. They thought themselves invincible. Little did they know fate had other plans. In a remote mountain village, a blind swordsman lived in solitude. His name was Zatoichi. He was not always blind. Once he was a feared samurai, but a battle cost him his sight. Now he lived a simple life, yet his skills had not diminished. They had evolved. Zatoichi's other senses sharpened to incredible levels. He could hear a leaf fall in a crowded forest. The slightest change in air pressure told him of approaching danger. His fingers could feel the intent behind a person's movements. But his most remarkable ability involved his sword. The blind swordsman's blade became an extension of himself. He could sense the world through it. Rain falling on the steel sang to him. It told him of the world beyond his darkness. The vibrations of footsteps traveled up the blade. They whispered secrets of friend and foe alike. Zatoichi's mastery was unparalleled. He moved with grace and precision. His blindness was not a weakness, but a strength. It allowed him to see the world in ways others could not. And now, as darkness fell over the land, his unique skills would be put to the ultimate test. Word of Zatoichi's abilities reached the rogue ninjas. They saw him as a threat, a challenge to their supremacy. Cage decided they must eliminate him. The group set out for the mountain village. They moved under cover of night, silent, deadly, confident in their victory. But Zatoichi was not caught unaware. He sensed their approach long before they arrived. The blind swordsman stood in the village square. Rain fell softly around him. His sword rested in its sheath. He waited, calm and centered. The ninjas emerged from the shadows. They circled him like wolves. Cage stepped forward. He mocked Zatoichi's blindness, taunted him with threats. But the swordsman remained still. He listened to the rain on his blade. It told him everything he needed to know. The ninjas attacked as one. A flurry of blades and throwing stars. Zatoichi moved like water. His sword flashed in the moonlight. He deflected every attack with impossible precision. The ninjas were stunned. How could a blind man fight so well? They redoubled their efforts, but Zatoichi was always one step ahead. The clash of steel echoed through the night. A dance of death had begun. Section 4, Honor versus Dishonor, a battle of ideals. As the battle raged, a stark contrast emerged. The ninjas fought with desperation and anger. Their movements were chaotic, unpredictable. They used every dirty trick they knew: poison darts, smoke bombs, deception and misdirection. But none of it worked against Zatoichi. The blind swordsman moved with purpose and calm. Every strike was measured, precise. He wasted no energy. His blade found its mark again and again. He fought not with hatred, but with skill, with honor, the very thing the ninjas had abandoned. Cage grew frustrated. He ordered his men to attack the villagers, to force Zatoichi to defend them. But the swordsman was ready. He moved faster than the eye could follow. His blade sang through the air. It protected the innocent from harm. The ninjas found themselves outmatched at every turn. As the battle wore on, the ninjas began to falter. Doubt crept into their minds. They had relied on fear and brutality for so long. Now they faced a foe who knew no fear, who embodied the very ideals they had forsaken. The tide of battle turned. Zatoichi's mastery proved too much for their dishonorable tactics. Section 5, The Reckoning. Consequences and moral lessons. One by one, the rogue ninjas fell, not to death, but to defeat. Zatoichi disarmed them with surgical precision. He left them bruised and battered, but alive. Only Cage remained standing. The ninja leader faced the blind swordsman alone. His arrogance shattered, his confidence in tatters. Cage attacked with all his remaining strength, but Zatoichi saw through his desperation. With a single perfect strike, he disarmed the ninja. Cage fell to his knees, defeated, humiliated. The blind swordsman stood over him. His voice was calm as he spoke of honor, of the true path of the warrior. The villagers emerged from hiding. They cheered for their savior, but Zatoichi remained humble. He offered the ninjas a choice: return to the path of honor or face justice for their crimes. Many of the ninjas, seeing the error of their ways, chose redemption. Cage and a few others refused. They were bound and taken away. As dawn broke, Zatoichi prepared to leave the village. The people begged him to stay, to teach them, but he declined with a gentle smile. His path led elsewhere. As he walked away, the rain began to fall again. It sang on his blade, a melody of hope, of honor restored. The blind swordsman had shown that true strength comes not from fear or brutality, but from unwavering adherence to one's principles, even in the darkest of times.